Welcome back to the channel, everyone, where we love talking about movies and more. I'm your host, Mason Phillips, and it's been a bit. I haven't posted anything to this channel since about June or July. I was due for a much-needed break. I didn't mean to be offline for as long as I was, but I'm ready to get back into it. I've got motivation to do really interesting videos, at least stuff that I find interesting, and I hope you do too. For this video, I wanted to talk about what does Marvel Studios look like going into 2026. 2025 was an interesting year for Marvel. We had 3 movies: Captain America Brave New World, The Thunderbolts Asterix, which was actually a new Avengers movie, and then we had the Fantastic Four First Steps. I really enjoyed Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts was actually my favorite comic book movie of last year. I thought it was really well done, much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be great, and I thought it was one of the great MCU movies, and one of the better ones we've gotten in a long time. I also really liked Fantastic Four First Steps. I've always been a fan of the Fantastic Four, but I never thought they were really treated very well in theaters. However, I am a fan of those Tim Story Fantastic Four movies, so I'm one of the outliers, one of the odd ones that actually, I grew up with those movies. I really like those. I can see the flaws in those films, but I always found them to be very fun. And then once Disney acquired Fox, there was always the hope that we would be seeing the Fantastic Four sooner rather than later. Finally, we did get to that film. We got Fantastic Four introduced to the Marvel Cinematic Universe last year. For the most part, I love how they handled Marvel's first family. I love the retro, futuristic 60s style that they put the Fantastic Four in. The more comic book accurate suits that we've been getting in the MCU, and not just the MCU, but DC stuff lately too. I love the aesthetic that we're kind of shifting to, not the black leather X-Men 2000s look, but a more hopeful comic book look that doesn't really look silly, but it fits for the film they're making. So I think that we're heading in the right direction where the look of these characters are going, the feel of these characters. I love the Fantastic Four. That film was also one of my favorites of last year. You know, it wasn't as high on my list as I thought it was going to be, but I did really enjoy it. So I think it was a good first step for the Fantastic Four. So I'm excited to see what will come of the Fantastic Four in Avengers Doomsday. So that's the big movie this year. Going into Marvel 2026, that's the big movie this year, is Avengers Doomsday. Everything's leading to Avengers Doomsday. And I'll be honest, I haven't been that excited about Avengers Doomsday. You should be excited for an Avengers film. I was excited for Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. I was eating up everything I could get on those movies before they came out, and then was so excited when I saw each film in theaters. And I just haven't had that anticipation for Doomsday, and there's a big reason for that. It's the lead up to Doomsday, and I think we've all known that. It's the lead up. It doesn't feel cohesive. We know they've had to pivot from Kang to Doctor Doom, and COVID made a lot of issues in how things were released and how things were made and filmed, and so plot lines got changed around, shifted around in very weird ways. And then a lot of the Disney Plus stuff just really felt like it was thrown at the wall, done very haphazardly, and was not really given the same amount of care and love that other projects have been given. And that's not the case of everything that they put out on Disney Plus for Marvel. WandaVision is one of my favorite shows. Loki, both season 1 and season 2, I think is maybe my favorite thing they've done post Endgame for Marvel Studios. I love the Loki series. I'm so excited that Tom Hiddleston is coming back as that version of Loki in Avengers Doomsday, and I can't wait to see his interaction with Thor. More stuff I've been hearing about Avengers Doomsday as we've been getting into the marketing for this film just got me really hyped, really excited. So I'm so looking forward to seeing what they're doing. I'm still a little skeptical on the Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom of it all. It's not what I would have done, but from all accounts, anybody who's actually gotten a little bit of insight on what Doomsday and Secret Wars are about, it's not really showing me any red flags. Everybody seems to be, for the most part, anybody who has an inside track on this, be it the Scoopers or some YouTubers that I follow that have gotten some information on these movies, they all seem to be pretty excited about the direction of Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. More excited than I've seen these people in a very long time. So that gets me hyped because they're hyped, hoping that this hype train will continue through 2026. We got some really cool projects. Doomsday, of course, we got those cool trailers that have been dropping. The marketing strategy, be it as it may, maybe it's great, maybe it's not. But I enjoyed the Steve Rogers trailer. I enjoyed the Thor trailer. That X-Men teaser that came out last week was insane. I am so excited to see the original X-Men back on screen, finally getting the treatment they deserve. So I'm getting more and more hyped for this movie, and I'm glad that I'm finally excited for an Avengers film. And I really wasn't last year, and it wasn't until early this year, and especially with those teasers once they started dropping, that I started getting really excited for what this movie could be, and hopefully the true culmination of everything that we've gotten in the MCU, Marvel films from the 2000s and the 90s, going all the way back to the original Blade film, going up to Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. So while the path to Doomsday has been pretty rough, it hasn't been the Infinity Saga. We all know that. The multiverse saga has kind of been a little all over the place. But I think we're headed in a proper direction going into Doomsday and Secret Wars. And I think this offers Marvel a pretty good situation, because if they handle this right, if the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige and everybody at Marvel Studios handles these films right, Doomsday and Secret Wars, we could set ourselves up for a Marvel universe. It's fully fledged out. It's complete. We've got Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, the Avengers, all of these characters, the Guardians of the Galaxy, all of these characters existing in one universe. We haven't had that yet. We haven't had a complete Marvel universe on screen. It's always been because of rights issues, reasons that Disney couldn't use certain characters. Like Spider-Man was off limits for quite a while, and even when they did get the ability to use Spider-Man with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, they were still kind of off limits on what villains they could use. Now it kind of looks like Sony might be allowing Marvel to use more of their characters because what they've been doing hasn't been going so well. And then, of course, the Fox X-Men characters and the Fantastic Four were off limits because Fox owned those characters, but then Disney acquired Fox, so now they're able to use more Marvel characters, and they've got access to just about everybody. About 95% of the Marvel characters, Marvel Comics characters, Marvel Studios has access to now. So I'm hoping that post-Secret Wars will do the reset. Some characters will stay that have been established in the MCU. We'll bring in some new ones, new X-Men. Eventually, we'll bring in a new Captain America, new Iron Man. The Fantastic Four will exist in the same Earth. The X-Men will be on the same Earth. All of these characters will be in the same universe. And that will set up some possibilities for some really cool stories. Maybe we can finally get a proper Secret Invasion story. Not what they did on Disney Plus, but maybe an Avengers story. Maybe a saga that leads towards Secret Invasion. And each film will build upon each other, leading towards that culmination event film. And that's another thing I really hope they get to do post-Secret Wars, and I hope Marvel understands they have to do this. That was the excitement of Phase 1, was building off of each film. Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger, all built up towards the Avengers. You felt that momentum, you felt that build-up. And then once we got the Avengers, we got the introduction of Thanos, and we started getting the introduction of the Infinity Stones, and then we had the build upon each film as we got further and further along and closer towards Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. And it felt like each film, again, was building upon the last one. So that's what we need to do again. Maybe we'll do like an Age of Apocalypse story with the X-Men, something really truly epic. And I think that's where Marvel puts themselves in a really great position if they handle it right. Take the opportunity they've been given. Do it carefully. Do it like they used to. I think we're in for some really cool stories post Secret War. So it's got me excited for the possibilities. I think from what I've been hearing for what Doomsday and Secret Wars can be, I think we might just be getting something really cool. As far as the Avengers films are concerned, we got some other stuff that's really cool for 2026. Spider-Man Brand New Day. I love the Spider-Man character. He's my favorite Marvel Comics character. My favorite MCU character is Captain America, Steve Rogers' Captain America. But my favorite Marvel Comics character has always been Spider-Man. I think that Tom Holland's Spider-Man has finally gotten to a place where he's pretty close to where I want him to be. He's more of the Spider-Man that I've always wanted, what Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was, and for the most part, what Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was. That street-level Spider-Man that doesn't need a babysitter. He had Iron Man in Homecoming. They had Nick Fury and Maria Hill and these other characters to prop him up in Far From Home. He had Doctor Strange and, of course, the other Spider-Man, which was great in No Way Home. I love No Way Home. It's my favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, but he's always felt like he had to have somebody to watch over him, doing these team-ups. And I know that's the deal between Marvel and Sony. You know, Sony's like, you get to use Spider-Man as long as we get some MCU characters in our films. I get that. I understand that. But I've really been wanting this street level Spider-Man. We've all been wanting that. After the whole multiverse stuff, I was really worried that we would get another big multiverse adventure in Spider-Man 4. I wanted a street level Spider-Man. Spider-Man in Manhattan, we really hadn't had that. He's been either in Europe dealing with multiverse stuff, he went to DC in Homecoming. It just hasn't felt like the Spider-Man that I've been wanting. And now I think we're finally in a position where we can have that with Spider-Man Brand New Day. Nobody remembers who Peter Parker is. He's finally doing stuff on his own. And the plot leaks I've been hearing about this movie have got me really hyped. We're bringing in some street level villains, Tombstone, Scorpion, some other characters. I think Rhino might be in the mix. Punisher is going to be in it, and that's really cool. I was really hoping they would do a Daredevil Spider-Man team up against Kingpin. I'm hoping they will eventually get to that, maybe in Spider-Man 5 or 6. But the fact that we have the Punisher and Spider-Man, Punisher was a Spider-Man villain in the comics at times when he was first introduced. So that's kind of cool how they're bringing John Bernthal in to the film. It'll be the first film that this character has been a part of. Yes, he's been reintegrated into the MCU after Daredevil Born Again and all the restructuring they did with the Marvel Netflix shows, but now he's coming into a film. Charlie Cox was in Spider-Man No Way Home briefly. We got John Bernthal here in Spider-Man Brand New Day. So I'm excited for the possibilities of what this film could be. The costume looks amazing. I'm finally excited for one of the Spider-Man suits. I haven't loved the Spider-Man suits. They've been so tech heavy, and they haven't really felt like Peter's suit. These are suits that were given to him, and this is Peter's suit. This is one that he sewed in his apartment, one that he put together himself. Doesn't have all that crazy Stark tech in it, so he doesn't feel like Iron Man Jr. anymore. He feels like Spider-Man. That's got me really excited for what this film could be. Another thing I'm really excited for, we talked about it a little bit, Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Season 1 was in an interesting position. Originally, it wasn't even going to be connected to the Netflix Daredevil, and that always rubbed me the wrong way. Why bring in Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio as Daredevil and Kingpin if you're not going to continue the story? You're manipulating audiences and getting them excited for characters that they seem familiar with but are nothing like the characters they were before. You're lying to the audiences, and that just always rubbed me the wrong way. Why bring in these actors as these characters and not make the previous iterations of these characters, the seasons 1 through 3 of Daredevil, all of the Netflix Marvel stuff, why not make that canon? It doesn't change anything about the movies. It never created any continuity issues. So why make the change? What was the reason for it? It sounds like Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox had a talk with Kevin Feige and were really trying to convince him what we're doing with Born Again's not working. We need to go back to the roots of what the Netflix show was. And so they weren't able to scrap everything they did with that original filming of Born Again. But during the writer's strike, the actor's strike, they put the production of that show on hold, reworked it, restructured it, filmed completely new episodes. I think they're the first episode and then the last 2 episodes of Born Again Season 1 were from the new team that took over after the restructuring process. And then everything in the middle was reworked, re-edited, a few scenes reshot, everything with Vanessa. Of course, they were going to replace the actress who played Vanessa. They brought in the original actress who played Vanessa from the Netflix seasons after the restructuring. And so they improved upon their mistakes, or tried to. And I think for the most part, everything they did to rework it, bringing back Foggy, bringing back Karen, bringing in the Punisher, and connecting it closer to the Netflix Daredevil, it really helped put the show in a better direction. For the most part, I liked Daredevil Born Again Season 1. There were a few episodes, a few moments where I was like, this just doesn't quite feel like the Netflix Daredevil. It's close, but something's a little off. And that something that was a little off was probably stuff from the original production. They were just trying to mix it in and use what they could to make something that felt cohesive. Now, the new team that came in, Season 2 is all theirs. None of the old team worked on Season 2. So I'm really excited for what we're going to be getting. Jessica Jones, Kristen Ritter's coming back. I don't know if John Bernthal's Punisher is going to be in this season. He will have his own special, which I'm also really excited for. But I don't think he's going to be in this season. But of course, we got Charlie Cox back, Vincent D'Onofrio back. We got Karen Page is going to be in this season a whole lot more than she was in Season 1. So that's got me really excited. Possibility Luke Cage might be in it. Mike Coulter might come back. Even Finn Jones's Iron Fist, I would like to see back in the role. May not be a big fan of the show he was a part of, but the character I always kind of liked. So maybe he'll pop up in the show as well. I'm excited for what we could be getting. I think we're on a better trajectory, a better path for this season. It's got me really excited for the possibilities of what we could be getting with Daredevil Born Again Season 2. The Punisher special, John Bernthal's working on that. He wrote it himself. He's a big force behind this special presentation. Not only is Punisher coming back, they're bringing back Curtis Hoyle from the Punisher series. Same actor, same character is coming back in the special presentation. Love that. I would love to get another season of the Punisher show. I don't know if we'll ever get that. They're probably just going to keep sprinkling this character into other projects. But as long as you get stuff like this special presentation right here, I'm really excited for this. And I hope it's a brawl. All out Punisher. I don't hold back. Give me the same stuff that we got in the Netflix series of The Punisher. I want that back again. We got elements of that in Born Again Season 1. So I'm really confident that this is going to be something pretty cool, pretty special. It's supposed to tie into his appearance in Brand New Day in some form or fashion. So I'm excited for that. Other stuff from Marvel. We got X-Men 97 coming out. I will admit I did miss X-Men 97 Season 1 because I never really watched X-Men the animated series, and I haven't been in a position where I was able to catch up and watch X-Men the animated series so that I would be propped up and ready to watch X-Men 97. So keep your pitchforks away. I will get to it. It's not me avoiding the show. It's just not a show I grew up with, so I just got to find time to watch it and put it into my schedule. From all accounts, I am going to be excited to see it. Heard nothing but great things about X-Men 97, both the animated series and 97 Season 1. I'm really excited to see what 97 Season 2 has got for us when I eventually get to it. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 1 that came out last year. A really cool, interesting what-if scenario for Spider-Man. It's basically the what-if series. They took the idea, and rather than making it one episode of what if, they just made it its whole series of this alternate reality for the MCU Spider-Man. It's close, but it's not quite the same, and it feels a lot closer to stuff like Spectacular Spider-Man or the 90s Spider-Man, and I love that feel. It's classic comic book Spider-Man. I love the art style. It's always been something I've really, really enjoyed. It took a little bit for the intro, the theme song, to catch me. I thought it was a little weird when I first heard it, but now I get excited to see that intro when each episode plays. The character interactions with Lonnie Lincoln, Nico Manuro, Peter, Doctor Strange, all these characters that came in to the story. I love what they've done to shape the world of this Spider-Man. So I'm excited to see if it connects to the broader MCU. I would like to see that. Even if it doesn't, I'm still looking forward to seeing Season 2. Season 1 was really fun, and I thought it just got better and better and better as each episode went on. So I'm really excited to see Season 2 when we get that. Pretty soon we've got a show coming out called Wonder Man. I'm not really too familiar with the character of Wonder Man. I am a little trepidatious going into this series because it did come out, or it was produced during the era when Disney was just kind of throwing everything at the wall and giving every character that ever existed in Marvel Comics their own show without really doing a lot of planning. It was Agatha gets her own show. Agatha was a good show, but Agatha gets her own show. She-Hulk gets a show. Moon Knight gets a show. Miss Marvel gets a show. Everybody gets a show. And Wonder Man was one of those that got a show. But they held off on releasing Wonder Man. I don't really understand the reason why. There was maybe just they made so much that they're like, okay, we have to hold off on releasing this at a later date. Actually, it was supposed to come out last year. At the end of last year, they pushed it to January. They pushed it to this month. And it's got me kind of excited. You know, we got Destin Daniel Cretton. He's the producer on this. Of course, director of Shang-Chi, director of Spider-Man Brand New Day from this year. Yahya Abdul-Mateen is playing Wonder Man. I really like that actor. We got Ben Kingsley back. Sir Ben Kingsley is back as Trevor Slattery. And this character has just grown on me more and more and more the more times we get to see him. And the premise of the show, one thing that's got me actually pretty intrigued is the fact that superpowers are banned in Hollywood. And what does that mean for the world of Wonder Man? What does that mean for these characters? And how are they dealing with the restrictions being placed on them for being superpowered individuals? That's stories that I love getting, the Civil War story, the X-Men stories. What does it mean when the government is trying to register these superheroes? I feel like we're getting more and more of that here in Wonder Man. I'm interested to see how this is all going to play out. Am I super excited for the show? No, but I'm curious. I'm curious about it. So it's got my curiosity. I think it's all dropping on one day. It's not a great sign for a show like this, but that doesn't mean it's going to be bad. Marvel Zombies was released in one day. Pretty good show. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man wasn't released in one day, but they released over the course of like 3 weeks. I think the show was released in batches of episodes, and I really enjoyed that show. So just because they're releasing it in one day doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It doesn't mean it's going to be great, but it doesn't mean it's going to be bad. It's just kind of a wait and see moment. Finally, last thing we got for 2026 MCU is Vision Quest. It's going to be the cap of this trilogy that was WandaVision, Agatha All Along, Vision Quest. We're going to finally revisit White Vision after he flew away at the end of the WandaVision series. Paul Bettany's back as Vision, and it's got me curious. James Spader is back as Ultron, so that's going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays out. Is he back as actual Ultron? Is this just part of Vision's consciousness? All the AIs from Stark's world will be given human personifications. I'm actually a pretty big fan of the British comedy troupe Mischief Theatre, and Henry Lewis and Jonathan Sayer from Mischief Theatre are also going to be a part of the show. You may not be familiar with them, but check out the Goes Wrong show and the play that goes wrong, some of the productions that they've put on. Very funny, very unique, and I'm excited to see that they're going to be playing the I know that Henry Lewis is playing Tony Stark's robot dummy, and Jonathan Sayer is playing another one of the Tony Stark robots. I don't know the name of the character. We're getting Friday back, this time played by a different actress. It's not Carrie Condon anymore. I don't know why they made the switch. I always thought that if they did something like this, they would have brought her on, like Paul Bettany got to play basically the live action personification of Jarvis when they did Vision. But speaking of the live action Jarvis, we got James Darcy back from the Agent Carter series. He's back here as the human version of Jarvis. So that's going to be really cool to see how all these AIs play off of each other. What is this show? I don't know. It's like Vision trying to find himself, reconcile with the Hex Vision self, the White Vision, the old Vision, him just trying to piece himself back together. I don't really know what else to expect from this show, but it does have me intrigued. It's got my excitement. I can't wait to see it when it does come out. Thank you for bearing with me on all this rambling that I've had. I don't know if this has been very cohesive, if this has been fun for you to listen to, but it's just stuff that I wanted to get out. So this is me blurting out everything to you. If you liked it, great. Hit that like button. If you enjoyed it, go down in the comment section. I want to hear, what are you excited about for the MCU going into 2026? Are you excited for the road to Doomsday? Are you excited for the direction that you feel Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars are going on? What about the promise for what the MCU could be post Secret Wars? Are you excited for the direction that we might be going in? I certainly am. I think there's a lot of promise there. Are you excited for all the shows coming out? Born Again Season 2, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2, X-Men 97 Season 2. A lot of Season 2s coming out this year. Vision Quest. We got Spider-Man Brand New Day. The Punisher Special. There's so much stuff to love about this year. And not just in the MCU. I didn't even mention this, but in Marvel in general, there's 2 games coming out. There's the 1945, I don't know, it's that Captain America Black Panther video game coming out from Amy Hennig, who is the writer behind the Uncharted original trilogy, and she's the driving force behind this project, so that's got me pretty excited. The trailer for that game looked really cool, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that game might be. The Wolverine game from Insomniac, who's been bringing us the Spider-Man PlayStation games. We got a Wolverine game coming from them, and I'm really excited to see what this might be. They're set in the same universe. Wolverine games set in the same universe as those Spider-Man games, so I'm excited to see what might come of this. Another big Wolverine game. Really haven't had that since the X-Men Origins Wolverine video game tie-in that they did back in 2009. So it's been a while since we've had a good Wolverine game. I'm pretty excited to check that out too. What are all of you excited to check out for Marvel in the year 2026? We got Wonder Man right around the corner, so that's the next thing on deck. I'm intrigued to check that show out, but the thing I'm really excited for this year, most excited for this year, is Avengers Doomsday. I'm sure it is for a lot of you as well. Again, go down in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear from all of you. Now, before I go, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified when new videos go live on this channel. When you guys do that, it always helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. So glad to be back here on YouTube again for 2026. I'm going to be experimenting with the content I'm doing this year, so bear with me. I hope you're excited for what I will be producing for you this year. Guys, I am so happy that all of you are here. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. Hope you all have an awesome and a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.